Hey guys, Miles Ramos and the Miami Dolphins just defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 26-24 in Week 1 of the preseason, and it had quite the eventful ending. Unfortunately, out of all the clips I was able to muster from this game, the only clip I wasn't able to muster was the final field goal. Hopefully, towards the end, when I'm editing it down and stuff like that, I could get that final clip. But essentially what happened was they were lining up for the game-winning field goal, 3 seconds left, Tampa was, and then Mike McDaniel ices the kicker. They end up kicking the field goal after our timeout's called. He makes it, it's fine, but it doesn't count. Then he goes and actually kicks the one after the timeout, and it hits the right upright, and the kicker's right upright, the screen's left upright. Anyways, misses it. Crazy way to win the game. You know, it's just preseason, so it was just a funny way to end it. But yeah, it was mildly interesting. Few things. Tua and Teddy, in terms of quarterback, did not play. We had a few running backs play. I'll just list off a few: Myles Gaskin, Garrett Dokes, Savon Ahmed, Sonny Michel, and Zandre White. Aside from that, we didn't see Chase Edmonds or Raheem Mostert, and I don't think our fullback that we just signed from the Raiders played either. So those are some things that I was looking forward to seeing, and got a few guys that I wanted to see. Definitely wanted to see Sonny Michel. He only got a few snaps and didn't really make the most of it, which was unfortunate. But aside from that, you know, I saw a big run from Myles Gaskin, stuff like that. Not going to be like a normal post-game review where I go over every single stat, but I'll go over the QBs. Skylar Thompson went 20 of 28, 218 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 3 sacks for a loss of 25 yards. He played all right. I wouldn't say he played like, you know, it's preseason. They're playing a bunch of guys who are hopefuls for the NFL, especially when both teams were in joint practice all week, so they literally just put all their backups out there this game. Essentially, barely had ones. Yeah, I think he looked very good in terms of, you know, he can handle the moment of playing in NFL type speed games. Aside from that, not anything too crazy. He had a near interception that if the DB would have got his feet down, it would have been an amazing interception. Aside from that, it was well enough that I was satisfied, but not enough that I was like, man, this guy, you know, has really good potential. But there is potential there for sure. Kyle Trask did pretty well. He went 25-33, 258 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 2 sacks for a loss of 13 yards. Blaine Gabbert, he had like 1 series, I think. He went 5 for 5, 56 yards, a touchdown. So he did really good. I think he was 1 drive and out, if not 2 drives. Anyways, let's go over. Myles Gaskin had 4 carries, 27 yards. 20 was his longest. Not much from Tampa's side in rushing. Lynn Bolden Jr. was the Dolphins' leading receiver. 3 receptions, 55 yards, a touchdown. It was a beauty of a touchdown. I'll probably have it playing here. It was really nice. He had 4 targets, so he only dropped 1. Mohamed Sanu also played pretty well. 3 receptions, 39 yards, 3 targets. Cedric Wilson, 3 receptions, 29 yards. Mike Gesicki had a reception for 13 yards. That's pretty much it. Tyler Johnson was really killing the Dolphins when he was playing. 6 receptions, 73 yards on 7 targets. 22 was his longest. Let's see. Kalen Greer had 4 receptions, 52 yards. 26 was his longest. I'm trying to see who else. Jeff Stearns, 51 yards off of 4 receptions, 1 touchdown. Jaylon Darden, he had 1 reception for 23 yards and it was a touchdown. And that's pretty much it for Tampa. Fumbles, Dolphins recovered 2 fumbles. One was fumbled by our own Devontae Dedmon and recovered by Cameron Goode. And then Sam McGovern recovered a Kyle Trask fumble that returned it for a touchdown. That was such a beautiful play. It was hit out by one of our guys, and then next thing you know, Sam McLaughlin gets the ball, taking it back to the end zone. Such a beautiful play. Some things that I want to mention. I think the defense played pretty well, given the terms. You know, we were playing essentially the Buccaneers' third-string quarterback for the most part. When Blaine Gabbert was in, the defense that we had in, I know we didn't have all of our starters. Something interesting also was Nick Needham was lining up at safety. I know Javion Holland wasn't playing, so that was more than likely the reason. I really like Needham as a cornerback, mostly a nickel cornerback. He has an ability to play either cornerback position, but aside from that, having him at safety, I wasn't a huge fan of, just because he's pretty small. I know, there's not a really big problem with having small safeties and whatnot, but just wasn't. I didn't like what I saw from him as terms of safety. But interesting to see Josh Boyer, rotating our guys to different positions other than what they're normally set at. So just an interesting thing. I hope Terrell Williams is okay. He got hurt in the fourth quarter, and that was really unfortunate. Something I also want to mention was the second quarter was really huge for the Dolphins. I'm just gonna have a clip of like all of the big plays in the second quarter because we had a big interception from Elijah Campbell, and that was the one that led to the Lynn Bolden touchdown. But yeah, Elijah Campbell just right place, right time. Football was just getting caught between your legs and ended up, securing it without it letting it hit the ground. That was huge. And then it leads into the Lynn Bolden touchdown, which he was wide open for. I believe the replay I have doesn't have him getting open, but I saw on the Miami broadcast that he did like a stop and then go towards the end zone and just completely wide open. And kudos to Skylar Thompson for finding him like that. Not much else to really cover on stats aside from field goals. Jay Sanders, perfect, 4 for 4 on field goals, 2 for 2 on extra points. Jose Borregales, 1 for 2 on field goals, like what I was saying earlier, and then 3 for 3 on extra points. Aside from that, it was a pretty entertaining game. This is what preseason's all about. You see a bunch of just guys who are hopeful for the NFL or guys who are just fighting for a roster spot. They're pretty decent for NFL that don't make most teams. They're just fighting for a spot on this Miami Dolphins team. One thing I'm very happy with is seeing how much depth the Dolphins do have at wide receiver, aside from Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. You guys have, we have Mohamed Sanu, Cedric Wilson, Eric Uzama. I'm fighting for Lynn Bolden and Trent Sherfield to also make the team, but we'll see what happens with the wide receivers. Preston Williams, unfortunately, looks like he's on his way out. I didn't mention this earlier, but he was asking for a trade because they're just not utilizing him in camp, which is pretty unfortunate because he was one of my favorites going into like one of the first years with Flores when we got him as an undrafted free agent. And then he had a big preseason, which really helped him get onto the roster because he had a really good connection with Josh Rosen and made Josh Rosen look a lot better than what he actually was. So that was something that really helped his chances of making it. And when he did play, he was really good. And then, unfortunately, injuries have derailed his career up to this point. That's neither here or there. Rivercraft is another hopeful, but I'm not sure if he can actually make the roster. But we'll see. He's another guy who came over from McDaniel's system. But that's pretty much it. It was fun watching all these guys play. And next week we do play the Oakland Raiders, and that game is going to be in Miami. I'm not sure if I'm going to go. I might have some other. Actually, no. I might not go to the last game. But yeah, Raiders next weekend, August 20th at Hard Rock Stadium, 7 p.m. It's going to be interesting. Played the Raiders the last 3 years, and it's always been unfortunate endings for the Dolphins. So it is what it is. But it is preseason, so who cares? What was your guys' favorite part of the preseason game so far. Definitely showed you guys some of mine throughout this video, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, let me know who you're hoping for to make this roster. And that's pretty much it. Peace.